So welcome again, it's me again, Wolfgang, and in this little video I will again talk about the little details of using Raspberry Pis and astroberries in amateur astronomy, and I would like to show to you how one can assign a static IP address to a Raspberry Pi in a small observatory network. Have fun! In an earlier video, I showed to you how one can use a Raspberry Pi 3B as a headless INDI server for bringing all your USB devices to a single network address. In a second video, I also showed how one can build a USB-free server in order to cope with the short cable lengths required by USB 3 with a Raspberry Pi 4. And I also showed how to connect a small TFT display which shows the current networking address. However, it is quite useful, at least in a small network, to have fixed static IP addresses, and this is what I'm going to show you in this short video. So I have logged into my Raspberry Pi 4 via the secure shell, and I'm opening a program that shows me the status of the dynamic assignment of IP addresses. What I see here is that I have the IP address 10.00.141 assigned for a day through this dynamic address service. And I want to fix that to 140. So the only thing I have to do is I have to open the configuration file of DHCP-CD and go to the line where the networking device, the Ethernet device ETH0 is being configured. Here we already see an example. So we uncomment the interface line, we write our desired IP address of 10.00.140 into this line of this configuration file. '24 is just a shortcut for the net mask, so this is okay. And now I'm also assigning the gateway, most likely this 10.00.1 or whatever gateway you use if you want to connect to the outside world. And we also need a domain name server here. And in this setup, two are offered. I assume the first one to be connected to my router 10.00.1. But anyhow, I have a fallback here, which is the standard domain name server 8888. And by typing Ctrl-O and Ctrl-X, I can save this file and I can exit the nano editor. If I now log in after reboot into my Raspberry Pi again, you see that I can reach it on my local network at the address 10.00.140. And there's also a script running that starts the INDI server to connect my devices. So from now on, all of my cameras, filter wheels, whatever, is on the local Ethernet without any cable length limitation. If I open KStars here, you can also see that I can connect to my server. I have to add the right address, 10.00.140, and upon connection, I have my camera available. There is, however, a little problem connected to that. If a second device has the same IP address, you might run into trouble. For a small observatory network, I would therefore recommend to assign static IP addresses to all of your devices in order to avoid such a conflict. By the way, this also works for wireless networks, so it might make sense trying that, and have fun.